Hi, this is Terry Farrell, Dax from Deep Space Nine, and welcome to Random Trek.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Random Trek. I am your faithful captain, Christopher Ingle. And, I swear it was all a dream, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there. Too obscure a reference?
Yeah, there's no place like home. I mean, there it is.
Today, we are
It's
taking
too
a look.
obvious of a reference, I think.
Maybe too obvious of a reference. But we are taking a look at season 5, episode 25, one of the most critically acclaimed episodes of Star Trek, period, The Inner Light. Joined as always by my first officer, Commander Brennan, the mystical Mar, who wasn't in my dream.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was incepting your dream.
Incept. That's a hint of
That's
what's
next
to come.
month. Yeah, that's next month.
Oh yeah, The Inner Light, my friend. Does it get any better than this?
This really is peak Star Trek, I think.
Oh, this is so science fiction. Oh, it's an amazing episode. Let's talk about the plot and story of this episode, and then go into its minutia and details because it's just so good. Okay, so the Enterprise is doing a survey of the Parvenium system, and they find this unknown probe, things they've never seen before. The device starts to rapidly scan the ship and then directs an energy beam directly at Captain Picard through the shields. He wakes up, he gets knocked out, and he wakes up finding himself on Catan, not to be confused with the settlers of.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
On the planet Catan, which is a non-Federation world, a woman is over him named Eileen and tells Picard that his name is Kamen. He is an iron weaver and recovering from a fever, and that she is his wife. Picard is kind of freaking out a little bit, like, no, I'm a captain of a ship, and what have you. But his wife and their close friend Bataille convinced Picard that, you know what, this was just part of a fever dream that you had. That's all this was. So he starts living this life as Kamen in the village, the village of Resic. He has children with Eileen. He learns to play this flute. We're going to talk about this flute. He spends so much time outdoors, looking in his telescope, studying nature, always the scientist. And as years pass, he starts to notice that radiation from the planet's sun is increasing,
And
causing
massive drought. Yes.
it causes this drought. He's sending reports to the planet's leaders who seem to ignore his concerns. Jarrell much? Anyway, meanwhile, on the Enterprise, the crew is trying to revive Picard. They try to block the influence of the probe and the beam, but Picard nearly dies as the process, so they're forced to let it continue. They trace the trajectory of this probe to a sun that went nova over 1,000 years ago, and life has been extinct in that region since. So for Picard, years pass. Kamen ends up outliving Eileen and Bataille, his wife. Oh, in a very sad moment, his wife dies. Kamen and his daughter, Maribor, are studying the drought, and they find that it's not temporary and that extinction is inevitable. It's going to go supernova eventually, and they're going to die. Kamen confronts the government, and the government admits to him that, yes, we know, but we need to keep this secret so there's no panic. Again, Jarrell much?
I was gonna say, this feels very Kryptonian.
Doesn't it? It really does. So the officials point out to Kamen that they only recently launched artificial satellites using primitive rockets. They just don't possess the technology to evacuate their planet. There's nothing that they can do. So we fast forward and we see him playing with his grandson. Kamen is summoned by his children to watch the launch of a rocket, which everyone seems to know about except him. He walks outside into this, the light is so bright. And Kamen ends up seeing Eileen and Bataille, young Eileen and Bataille, when he first saw them. And they explained to him that the rocket that he's looking at, he has seen before, it's the one the Enterprise encountered. Knowing that their planet was doomed, the leaders placed all the memories of their society into this probe and launched it into space in hope that someone would find it and could tell others about their story. And realizes, oh, it's me. You know, he's this person. He's the one. And realizes that he was the chosen one for this. He wakes up on the bridge of the Enterprise and discovers that he actually experienced many decades in only 25 minutes. The probe terminates. They bring it aboard the Enterprise, and the only thing left they find inside is a small box, and inside that box is the Resican flute. Riker gives it to him, and Picard, as we leave, plays a haunting melody, and that and the hum of the ship is all we hear as it exits. Wow.
It is. It is wow.
You know, and just seeing Patrick Stewart go into this, you know, in this kind of two personality kind of thing and have to accept this reality that's in front of him.
This is what Patrick Stewart does best. It's a theatrical thing.
Mm-hmm. This is almost Shakespearean too.
It is. He gets to do something like he's famous for.
He gets to experience things too that he hasn't. He has a family, a wife. Like,
yeah, that's a big one.
The things we talked about in the Nexus that he walked away from.
Yeah.
He experienced those in this memory. And I think this is a turning point for him. I think this is his realization that these are things that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a little bit of that later on down the line. Remember the episode when he was dating the lieutenant commander?
Yes. Yeah.
You see a little piece of that. Or Anij and in Insurrection. Like, huh?
Or Vash.
Oh, Vosh. Well, Vosh is in the past.
And Vash is quite a character.
I love Vosh. We haven't had to do a Vosh episode yet. But anyway.
Oh, darn, we missed Valentine's Day. We could have done Cupid.
Anyway. I just really enjoy how he takes this. And
oh, yes.
You know, that the whole episode is really focused on this and him living a life. That's all it is. He's just living a life with these people and accepting it.
Yeah, it's a fairly simple episode in that sense. There is a little bit of the techno devil, but it's not necessary in the sense that it's not important. What is important is that they can't cut him off from this until he completes the I don't know, vision, I guess you want to call it. Which is really interesting.
This episode has such credence with the fans and with the critics.
It does, yes.
This episode won the Hugo Award in 1993 for Best Dramatic Presentation. That doesn't happen all the time.
It did, yes.
It also it was the first Star Trek episode to be honored in this way since City on the Edge of Forever, which also won in 1968. And Next Generation would go on again to win it one more time with the finale, All Good Things.
Yes.
All great pedigrees.
Also, we're going to give the shout out to Margot Rose as Eileen.
Mm-hmm.
She is terrific in this episode.
This episode specifically did receive a Primetime Emmy nomination. Outstanding makeup.
Oh, yes.
However, it lost to DS9. That's kind of funny. But the fans are nuts for this episode,
Yeah.
myself included. So this is Patrick Stewart's personal favorite episode.
Yeah, and as it should be.
Star Trek writer Susan Sackett has noted that it is absolutely her favorite, and she didn't even write it. In 2001, IO9 ranked Inner Light as the 8th best Star Trek episode ever up to that point.
Wow.
Hollywood Reporter noted that this episode's presentation of Picard remembering his probe life and quietly playing the Resican flute in his cabin ranked that moment, that ending, as the 5th most stunning moment in Star Trek history.
Can't necessarily think of a better ending of an episode.
It's so lonely. And that's the thing. He goes from having this life where he is loved and together and appreciated and everything. And now he's alone with only his thoughts.
Yeah, in this particular piece, I believe is composed by Jay Chataway. And it is, I mean, certainly we all know the main theme of Star Trek. We all know the main theme of the Next Generation.
Right.
But this is one of those pieces that was composed for this episode that has become an emotionally iconic piece of music.
Yeah, the theme that he plays was turned into a full suite for the 30th anniversary. I have a CD of this somewhere. And was incorporated into the opening theme of Star Trek Picard.
So it was, yeah.
But that flute. Let's talk about this flute. How one little prop can drive people crazy. This prop has been on people's list of like, if I could have a prop, that's it. And there's only one. Wow. Only one. And by the way, Patrick Stewart even said it doesn't even play. But in 2006, the Resican flute in its original box was up for the Christie's auction, that huge auction that went on selling tons of past Star Trek memorabilia.
Yes.
Everybody wanted this flute. Everyone.
And it would become just as famous a prop as the
episode itself.
The Mintucket blanket.
Right. So here we go. Christie's originally listed it for $300. That's what they said it was
only
worth.
300?
Only 300. Right. They wanted to do that because they wanted fans with more modest budgets to be able to buy this thing. I respect that. And again, for the fans, auction directors admitted that their estimates may not factor in the emotional fury generated for this material. The auction later was the estimate was raised to between $800 and $1,200 on the Christie's website. And in the days leading up, Denise Okuda, former Star Trek scenic artist, video supervisor, the Okudas, said that's the item people say they really have to have because it's so iconic to this episode and to this series. The final bid in 2006 for that was $40,000, including the 20%, $48,000, equivalent to $74,868 today. But it does not end there.
Oh boy.
In June of 2021, the flute, storage box, and a script from the episode, complete with costume photos and handwritten notes, were auctioned at a prop store collectibles auction. Pre-estimates were up to $70,000. It sold for $190,000.
Wow.
That flute is possibly one of the most iconic pieces of Star Trek history.
It is, and it's weird because you only really see it in one episode.
Well, you get to see it a little more because it does come up again.
It does. That's true.
That flute, it's okay. So from that season on, it was always on a box on Picard's desk in the scenes where it
Yes.
wasn't used. It was
Yes.
always there. So this, of course, when he fell in love with the stellar cartographer, Nella Darren, that was brought up. That was when it was used again. And then when he's practicing Mozart during Fistful of Datas, one of my favorite fun episodes, and is in a deleted scene in Star Trek Nemesis.
Now go with me on this. I love the ending of Star Trek Picard as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if they had ended Picard season 3 with the Riskin flute theme?
Yeah.
I mean, it ended great. Can you imagine what that would have been like?
Yeah. I mean, the episode, the acting, it's so powerful, so dramatic, it's great. But isn't it amazing that the thing we really remember from this, and not in a bad way, is that flute?
Yeah, music has become so iconic.
I think there are
it's hard to
props.
listen to without crying. It really is.
Absolutely. There are props all throughout Star Trek history that I go, I want a piece of that. I want that so bad. This is one of them. I would love to have that flute. I mean, it's powerful. It's a part now permanently of Jean-Luc Picard's psyche.
Yeah, just like the Mintakan robe that he has over the.
Yeah, there are a
the
couple
Mintakan
others.
blanket that he puts over his chair.
You have the blanket. The other one that I want are the clay
Almost little figurines, yeah.
Yeah, the clay figurines. I would love to have that for him too. That would just be so awesome to me.
Yeah.
I love that. One of Data's paintings. I'd love to have one.
Livingston.
It's all like this is all fun, amazing. Geordi's visor.
Geordi's visor.
Want
yes.
to have. Yeah, I want Geordi's visor. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on this. I want those. Or even though they're too big, one of the filming models of a ship. That would be cool. Never gonna happen. But again, my point is this little thing is the star of this show. It is the symbol of everything it means. It is otherworldly, and yet it is now uniquely Picard. Picard is a changed man after this episode.
And I think the flute makes a perfect memory of the Riskins.
Absolutely, it does. This is it's just so beautiful. And I want to know, though, they don't have the technology to get people off, but they can scan all the people's minds and put it in that probe and have it last over 1,000 years and transmit into somebody's brain.
Yeah.
He's curious. I was like,
and also, we have to mention Daniel Stewart.
Go ahead.
So Patrick Stewart's son, Daniel Stewart, plays his son as an adult in this episode, which is a neat little Easter egg.
Yep.
And if you look at them, you see the resemblance for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a nice little reference.
Mm-hmm. I love this so much. It's great, worth every penny, every time, every moment.
And it's definitely one of the best Next Gen episodes.
It's great science fiction. You don't need a lot of Star Trek knowledge to watch and enjoy this episode.
Yeah.
It's just great science fiction. Yep.
And it does what sci-fi should do.
Yep.
Just make us think, make us feel.
Yep. I agree.
Yep.
Oh. All right.
There's so much we could talk about, but it's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. But Star Trek waits for no one, and we have to move along.
Nice.
Next week is movie night. Big week. Big week for us.
Move along home. We have to move along home? Oh
Move
no.
along home. Whoa, we did that one. We did that one.
I
I
don't want to revisit that one, no.
don't mind it. But anyway,
It's nothing compared to this one.
yeah. So next week we are going to the other Star franchise.
Oh boy.
And our buddy Ryan Permison's going to join us. We are going to review Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And as a crossover, Brennan and I will join Ryan on his channel where we will do a watch along of it and react to it in real time as it goes along.
Yep.
It's going to be so much fun. It is going to be a blast for us next week. But we got the week after. And in the week after, we're on DS9.
Okay.
All right, Wheel of Morality, turn. Tell us the season that we should burn. We've been working on changing. Season 3, episode 10. Fascination. Oh, buddy. Directed by Avery Brooks with a returning appearance from one Miss Loxana Troy.
Oh no, not this one.
This is the one with the Bajoran Gratitude Festival where everybody falls in love with everybody else.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it is.
But it's directed by Avery Brooks, so maybe it's not so bad.
We'll see. Mhm.
We will see. Brennan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at brennrod@bluesky.social. And you can find me on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube at Page Turners They Were Not.
Of course, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at CIngle1984. But as always, we end every episode. Oh, I live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.